Hi, third graders. It's Mrs. Neiman here. Today we're going to talk about calendar and time relationships. So to start, we're going to look at some time relationships. I'm sure that some of these you have heard, so try to answer them before I give you the answer. If you don't know them, though, try to remember them so that you can use these answers for the test. 1 hour is how many minutes? Think about it. 1 hour would be 60 minutes. So if our minute hand goes around one time, that would be 60 minutes. How about how many hours are there in one whole day? This we learned in science. Remember, the earth spins or rotates on its axis, and that's 24 hours. Makes one whole day. Then the earth spins around one whole time. Okay, how many days are there in a week? You may have learned a song about this when you were younger, but there are 7 days in 1 week. And then months in a year, that would be 12 months in 1 year. Good. Now that we have learned some time relationships, let's take a look at an actual calendar. Here we have a calendar that is showing January. We can see that the name of the month typically comes at the top of a calendar, and then just underneath it we typically see the days of the week listed just below it. And then from there we have all of our dates that are on the calendar for that month. Now usually the days of the calendar are actually written out on there, but in this one we just have the first letter of each day. So let's go through and make sure we know which days are which. We always start on Sunday, so that first S would be Sunday. From there we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, so there are 2 S's and 2 T's, but we know that Sunday comes first, and then with our T's, we know that Tuesday comes first. So when they ask us what day of the week is this S here, that would be our Sunday. And what day of the week is this T here? This one would be Thursday. Now when we're looking at a calendar and we want to count days, how many days it's been for something, we want to count across the calendar. So for example, we have a question here that says, how many days from January 2nd to January 5th? So we're going to find January 2nd, that's right here, and we're going to count across going to the right until we get to January 5th. Now, if we needed to, we would go down to the next line, but in this case, January 5th stops in this line. So we go to the right and then go down if we need to. So starting on the 2nd, we're going to count. Now, this would be 0. Okay, and then we start on 3 and say 1, 2, 3. So it would be 3 days from January 2nd to January 5th. Good. Now, if they're asking for how many weeks, we want to count down instead of across. So for example, we have how many weeks from January 7th to January 28th. So if we were counting days, we would start here and we would go across this way. But we're not counting days, we are going to be counting weeks. So we'll still start on that January 7th, but instead we are going to count down. So starting here, just like in the problem before, we count this as 0, and then we count 1, 2, 3. So 3 weeks from January 7th to January 28th. Okay, let's try some more example problems. So this calendar is showing July in 2000. Okay, the first question is saying, summer will run from July 3rd to July 17th. How many days will that be? And excuse me, it's summer school, not summer. That would be a short summer. So how many days will that be? So starting on July 3rd, we need to count all the way to July 17th. Now remember, when we start, we want to count the third as 0, okay? And then we will count from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so that would be 14 days. Now the second question is asking us how many weeks will that be? So instead of counting across like we just did, this time we are going to count down because they're asking for weeks. So we'll still start on the third and we'll count that as 0, and we're going to count down for weeks. So 0, 1, 2. Okay, 2 weeks. I'm just going to put W for weeks. Now, it's important that I put those labels because we need to know that it's 14 days and 2 weeks, because those are two totally different things. If we said 14 weeks, that would be a lot more days than 14 days. And just 2 days is totally different than saying just 2 weeks. So we want to make sure that we actually put our labels on there so we know what we're talking about. Okay, the second question says, Tom placed an order for a pair of shoes on July 4th. It will take 3 weeks to receive the package. When will the package arrive? So this one's a little bit different because it's not giving us 2 dates. Instead, it's giving us a date and how much time has passed. So we know that when we count weeks, we count down. So we're going to start on the 4th, and we're going to count down 3 weeks. Remember, this is always 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is when his package would arrive, which would be July 25th. Okay, good. Next question. Dan scheduled an appointment to have his house painted. They would be there 9 days after July 12th. What day will the painters be there? So if he called them on July 12th and they said, well, we can be there in 9 days, we need to count from here. Remember, when we're counting days, we go across. Okay, starting here, this is always 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So the painters would be there on July 21st. Okay, good. The next question is kind of fun. It says, today is July 10th. Anne has a hair appointment 2 weeks and 3 days from today. When is her hair appointment scheduled for? So in this question, we're actually going to go weeks and days. So we're going to count down and across. So today is July 10th. Okay, and it says that it's going to be 2 weeks and 3 days from today. So if we start on the 10th, we want to do our weeks first. So starting here, that would be 0, 1, 2. Okay, but we still need to go 3 days. So now that we've gone down for our 2 weeks, we need to go across for 3 days. So now we had gone 1, 2. Now we need to count 1, 2, 3. So it would be on July 27th that she gets her hair done. All right, just one last question here. Sam's cousins are coming to visit her for 3 weeks. Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun to visit cousins for that long. They arrive on July 2nd. What day will they be leaving? So if her cousins get here on July 2nd, and we need to go 3 weeks. So we know that we need to go down when we count weeks. So starting on the 2nd, that would be 0, 1, 2, and 3. So her cousins will leave her on July 23rd. And that's it. So if you need to come back and watch this, do so anytime. Thanks for watching.